NRL Fantasy in round 15. It was a very interesting week with the beginning, as I was complaining about the start of the week there. Just my players like Hines just becoming a little bit frustrating and not owning guys like AFB and Cook. And for me, a lot of my players that I had did very, very well. Very happy that Campbell turned things around. Wong ended up being a really good asset in the end for me, getting that big 80 to start. Having some low scores in there, but has really turned it around for me in this week, which was a big blessing. Nafahu White, with the injury to him, being able to hold for this week of 48, at least helped me, save a trade anyway, which was good. Colo 65, brought in Teddy for his 53, got Farnworth the 99. That's been the big one there, and then a nice score from Garrick in a 20-point loss. Aiken a little bit low. Crazily enough, my second lowest score, the only one that was lower, was the injury to Jazz Savanga, who has the bye this week. So we get into my results here. 1,489 is where I'm at. 821 this week. With Savala on the pine, making some good cash there, up to 504, which is great work here. Now, that's my general squad there. You see the loopers that I did. I decided that I really wasn't going to play King Tonga. So I went Hines, Loop, King Tonga on there as well. Turns out Sharp was injured once the boys got 45 and 46. I was like, well, that's pretty safe. Savala could get 15 or 20, but he goes out and gets his best score. Now, the safety side of this, we only missed out on 17 points for his highest score of the year. So nothing too crazy on the low side. But on the bad side, on the high side, I should say, but in terms of my risk, the 17 wasn't very much. But if he came out and got a head knock or an injury in the first 5 minutes, picked up a 1, I missed out on the 45, 46 points there, right? Which is very, very tough. So that's where the safety loop is a thing. That's where picking a captain that's, got some upside but has a pretty decent floor. That's where the Farnworth play worked out this week, because he's generally going to hit you in the 40s to 50s if nothing really goes his way, but then he has 100 in his game, which we've seen over the last few years. So that was a really cool upside play this week. Colin Matangi's been hitting 80s, lobbed out a 65. Jaden Campbell, someone that we know that can hit like 30s to 40 at a minimum and has that upside as well. So those type of plays with looping is very helpful as well. And in this one here with my Yongi play in wing fullback, I was like, well, I'll just loop Garrick and then make a decision from there. Fletcher Sharp was out, so I didn't have that fullback cover. But if Garrick came out and got a 3, I could have made an extra trade to get a Carraz or something like that, who I likely, or probably would have been Drinkwater. So glad that Garrick went well, let's say that. Now, looking ahead to my squad before we go in and check out the leagues, and what I will say is a big shout out to Mr. Andrew Phillips. He's into 4th with a 920 odd, so an incredible score there for the Darkness Goat. For those that remember, he's our boy that was chatting through the Zooms earlier on the year in the dark. Now, my side this week, I had a little bit of a play with potential loopings as well, and this is with no trades used so far. Colin Matangi sitting there right down the bottom, likely to be out between 3 to 5 weeks, and I think the most likely outcome is going to be back in round 20 following their bye, which makes it pretty tough to hold 832k. If we're looking at my side, he's my third most expensive guy in my team. So Farnworth is almost at the same. That's crazy. 814. So with Colo there, he probably will be a sell, but I think you have to wait for the correct asset in your side. Is trading Colin Matangi straight across and a little bit down to Isaiah Katoa worth it for you? With him missing round 18, does it help your side? Do you need too many players for round 18? If you don't, then maybe that's a worthy thing as well to do for your side. Maybe you move him to, people talking about Jerome Hughes, you could do that, or to someone that improves your round 18 number. Now, before we go any further, Mitch and Matt, so they can't do this week. So I messaged them and I was like, what do you reckon? I do a bit of a parody and I pretend to be you guys and blow up at the things that you'd blow up about, or, fall in love with Nickera, or, talk about potential trades I might use and just do a bit of a back and forth pretending to be them. Let me know in the comments if you want to see it. Tempted to have a crack at that tomorrow just for a bit of fun. I enjoyed last week jumping on and giving them crap and having a bit of a laugh. So we'll see if I can emulate that for 10 or 15 minutes tomorrow. as a thing. We've got 5 days now until first game for NRL, and we do have Origin Wednesday, so maybe I'll do a bit of a parody of chatting about those guys' teams and then talk a little bit about Origin as well and what we're looking for and backing up and all this kind of stuff. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow. Let me know in the comments. But my side, I moved the guys in. Terrell May will be my captain, as he always is these days. Aaron Clark comes back into hooker for Jazz Savanga, which is helpful. I do have Couchman, King Tongia, Garrick, Tavanga, Kolomatangi out, and most likely Cleary. So I've popped him on the interchange, assuming he won't back up, but we will find out tomorrow. So right now, I'm looping Hosking, given they play earlier on this week coming up. Is that right? Raiders the first game, so I'm going to loop him to kick things off. In that edge spot, I have a Couchman that could come in to that one there. At this stage, Wong's playing. Wong's going to stick in the side. Because what the Rabbitohs have got? Rabbitohs got the Storm on Saturday night. I'll probably get some work down that side. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. But Hosking, we're wanting like a 50 from him to take that score. Anything in the 40s, I think we just take the other guys anyway. So that's Hosking. We'll keep him in our side. We then have... That's it, isn't it? Yeah. Cleary not likely to play. Fletcher Sharp was the other one. So Fletcher plays in the third game. He can cover wing fullback and half. Right now I have centre wing fullback dual. I have mid and hooker. Mid and edge. We have half. 2 times halves, most likely. So yeah, we can basically cover every single position. Yeah. This week, which is great for looping. And if I do make a trade as well, I could loop in that position as well. So Fletcher Sharp, he can be that looper, but I think when I'm looking at the side, Savala getting safer and safer by the minute. Yongi against the Titans, I actually don't mind that play, but we know he has a lower score in him, and he has to get a good attacking stats to do well. So he's an easy guy to, if Fletcher Sharp was to do really well, I could take Yongi there. The other thing there, guys, is with the ability to do some looping is having a look at multiple players as well, if we are trading and doing things like that. So we could loop Fletcher Sharp early and then see how things play out. If he only goes okay, we can do the loop of Yongi and see how he goes. That will be later in the week. I know we can't see him. He'll be a last-ditch effort. So we can trade someone else in and loop them. And if that goes well, then Yongi could miss out that way, or Savala could miss out, or Nico Hines could miss out. That's wild to think that against the Broncos at Sunday and 2 p.m. game, that we could think about leaving Hines out of the side. It's pretty wild, hey? That's where we're at this year, but unfortunately, that is how it is. If we're looking at guys to potentially bring in, as I said, Kolomatangi is a guy to sell. For me, I need... Well, with Savala in a pretty good spot, I generally do need one half, like a good King Tongia, but do we trust him for round 18? We may have to, we'll see. But one half or 0 halves. We then have Tedesco and we have Garrick that help me out in centre wing fullback, which does mean that I'm left with a couple of spots to fill, unfortunately. And yeah, 3 spots down there. Not super ideal with Yongi, Campbell, Lucas and Farnworth all out in round 18. So therefore, all of the trades that I make from here on, I think need to either help improve that half spot. So that's where Hughes could do something like that. They need to help me in centre, or they need to help me in wing fullback. And if you cast your eyes back to the video I did with Nicky on the Sunday night, go back and check that one out. We went through all the teams and all the potential options for those next few weeks. And now for me, in my setup, if we're looking at centres and it's guys that are available for round 18, we went through this a little bit, guys, was, Karaz is the big guy that stands out. And then you've got Nwangi Tawaze at 581, and all these other guys here, they're not available, or they're out in round 18. The next best in centre is Stafford Toa or Jackson Purdue. So it's not super exciting. And then when you do look to wing fullback, thankfully, you got a potential option in someone like Turbo, but then come round 19, you're missing Garrick, Tavanga, Turbo, and with Garrick and Tavanga being, Garrick and Turbo being wing fullbacks / centres, you want to make sure that Farnworth, Lucas, all those guys are cool, and that could potentially be an in for us. Pappenhausen becomes an option as well. But, when I'm looking at 3 guys, it's a lot to get in. Now, Drinky, I think, is still someone that I want to target, and thankfully, with the low scores that he's had, he has the potential to go down even further. And if I can get him near 550k, that's a tremendous steal. He will have great games across the rest of the season. So will Pappenhausen, but we're going to get Drinky a lot cheaper. So looking at guys like him, looking at players like Karaz will be options for my side. But I need to look at with Sharp in that section as well with Garrick. So there's 2 guys on my bench that are wing fullback, centre or halves. And then you've got Farnworth Gun, Lucas Gun, Campbell Gun, Teddy Gun. And then Yongi's, he'll leave the side, but let's remove Yongi, replace him with Garrick or Fletcher. Adding those extra 2, which I'll probably end up needing 3, right? Adding those extra 3 leaves me with 4 guys on my bench that are wing fullback, centre, or half to go along with Hines, Savala, Cleary, King Tonga. I'm sitting in a position where there's going to be 6 players on my interchange or emergency that are a half, centre, or wing fullback. And given it's not the highest scoring position, I don't know how much I want that. So the cycle may begin. Who are these guys that are going to stick in the side long term? Are we using, for buying Turbo, or using him just for a couple of week rental? Does Garrick stay in the side longer term? Like, in round 19, is he a sell? Do we have an injury to one of these players? I think, I'm thinking that personally, that might have to be the way to go, and we get an injury over that couple of weeks there, and then we recycle some of that money back into up top in the mids or the edges. But the good thing with all of that chat is the fact that that's 3 of the 6 positions. With hooker, we have, Jazz that could do a job. We've got Aaron Clark that we need him to stay fit, right? Mids, we're going to get Payne Haas back already. We've got, plenty of guns there. Couchman sitting on the bench. Colin Matungi's injured. We could easily trade him to another mid. Heaps of different things that we can do, right? So strategy, it's fun, basically, is what I'm working out over the next couple of weeks, how you set up your team for different weeks like that. For round 18, I'm actually in an overload for mids and for edges. So that's where cycling a little bit of that cash can go to the centers and the wing fullback. Iongi will move on as well. Do we go up with him? Do we go down? I'm still working out that strategy and talking to the private group about that one, and nutting that one out with them. Is going to be my thoughts of the week. Halves, centers, wing fullback. I can't touch any of the middles at the moment. Majority of them are Origin guys anyway, apart from Adam Fanua-Blake as a more expensive guy. We've got guys like Talis Duncan that did really well, but not going to be great for me and my side. Preston next week is super fun, but I think with the way that I need to go about it, Karaz is probably a slightly better play. And then in hooker, we don't really want any of those guys anyway. In halves, I want Katoa, but it doesn't help me in round 18, so I might just have to wait on that one and upgrade later down the track. So yeah, it's pretty interesting how it's all playing out. Hughes at 576 is definitely going to be an interesting play. Now it's compared to Mr. Number 1, Thames, who's still crushing it at 867, kept him in first place. 14.5 is the squad value. I'm at 14.236, which is pretty good still, I think. But the GOAT, Andrew Phillips, 929 into 4th. He's overtaken Jakey V, who had a great week as well at 836. He's sitting in 5th, so we have 2 players from our private crew in the top 10, which is incredible. So congrats to you guys there. And we had a massive move from Danny as well, who picked up an 891 into 14th. So 3 in the top 14 is pretty crazy. Happy as Larry there on that one. Now, if we are comparing myself to first overall, it's probably not a great comparison anymore, but at 638 points, which is a fair bit. If we compare myself to the top, let's go to 100, 13,775 to the top 100. 775, so 225 plus 75, exactly 300 points, which is pretty cool. Oh, which is actually Les, who's in our crew as well. Love that. JBFA Chris, love it. Yeah, so 300 points, not crazy to get to top 100. I think top 200 would probably be like a realistic point to get to in the next few months. And that's, 260 or something like that. No, less than that. 240, which is not bad. We can handle that. We can get 240 points. We need a couple of good weeks, though. Is it going to be this week or is it the next few? I wasn't sure how I was going to go this week exactly, but a decent 500 rank improvement was good. Yes, that was the private crew. Let's just go to the overall JBFA. We've got August in first, Samuel in fourth, Lucas in fifth. There's Danny in there. Contrasting. You're the contrasting first name. Hayden, Callan, Nigel in there in 10th. Nice. Geez, a lot of good people. He's in 10th and he's 32nd overall. Plenty going on. Brody doing some good stuff in there for sure. All right, let's go to podcasters because that's what we want to see. All right, starting near the bottom. Got Mr. Blindside down there. Come on, brother. Use those trades. Nicky, we spoke about him. Well, I spoke with him the other day. We are moving up now. We've got Marky Jessup down here. What are we at? 5,800. Still sitting okay. Mitchy Boy in 14th, just below Scoop. What a 5-point difference. There you go. So you'll hear from Scoop later in the week. 755 for him. Mitch is 765. So we'll chat through his team tomorrow if you guys are interested. But the guys we have to chase. All right. We've got Chrissy Cook, 1,160. A couple of the casual boys just outside the top 1,000. Austin, somehow I still beat him. I don't know. With Bostock, Farnworth, Katara's captain. It's just the low ones in there. And then Randall 72 with Wong 76. Just those couple of low ones, hey. Crazy what they can do if you're just consistent. But the big winner here is Jordan. He's into 18th, which is crazy. Jakey Boy up there in a good spot in 215. Yeah, good stuff. So those guys there. My head-to-heads, I did win the private head-to-head one. Had to scoop him 2 leagues. 6 in Gargarov, so I needed that win very clearly. Yeah, we're pushing. We're trying to make some moves. We need to get those triple figures. We can do it this week. Unlikely, but I have faith over the next 2 weeks we can get there. Although around 17, I've got 4 Roosters. I'll have to see how that one plays out. Nafahu White could be the sell come round 17. We'll work that one out. And there's plenty to work out here as well. And I'm actually heading over to New Zealand in 2 weeks now. So full-time sports bar and eatery. 118th I am in that league with Andrew killing that one. So if you are a Warriors resident, a New Zealand resident, you can be in this league and give yourself an opportunity to win some big prizes, which is going to be good fun. Keen to get over there in a couple of weeks, watch the Wars game. So if you do see me in there, come say hello. Keen to get over. That's probably it, eh? Fantasy, 4 round 15, that's the results. We got a long week, as I said. Friday night is our first game here, and I'll get on and parody tomorrow morning. Content League. How'd Ish go? She crushed it last week. 770. Yeah, still solid week. 821, 8th, the big dog, 857. Yeah, Matty T, 746. So I'll get on and pretend to be the boys, have some blow-ups, all the good stuff, but we'll leave this one there. That's all my strategy for the week. Hope you enjoyed that. We'll catch you in the next one. Good luck with your teams this week, guys.